Hey y'all, so we just wrapped up Extreme Rules 2022, and I wanted to go ahead and get this out before I even went to bed. Didn't want to wait till the next day. I wanted to get it out first thing. So I'll go through it. I'll break down. I'll give each match a rating, and I'll give the final rating on the whole show at the end. Now, I will preface this by saying this is admittedly the first show I've managed to watch in a while. So the show opened up with Imperium versus the Brawling Brutes, which is a match that I really did enjoy it. Little hokey, little gimmicky, but all in all, I'd give it a 3.5 out of 5. It was enjoyable, and it was nice to see. It really set the tone for the rest of the evening. As a real hard-hitting, we're just going to beat the piss out of each other kind of match. So from there, they went into Liv Morgan versus Ronda Rousey, Extreme Rules match for the SmackDown Women's title, which I'll admit I expected that to be the main event. That I definitely would have expected that to be the main event. Loved that match. Great match. They went to town on each other with what was clearly a plastic foam wrapped baseball bat, but we'll pretend, we'll play along. That's fine. I gave that match a 5 out of 5. Great match. I really enjoyed it. It kept my attention throughout the whole thing. So from there, they went into the Drew McIntyre Karrion Kross strap match. I was really interested in watching this because I did not get to see much of Karrion Kross previously. I know he'd been on NXT, and I'd heard a lot of people rave about his work on NXT, but I hadn't gotten to see it. And then, of course, he had been released, and he was recently brought back, so I was very interested to see this. And I was quite happy with it. I did not find it to be quite as good or quite as enthralling as the match between Liv and Rhonda. Of course, with Liv and Rhonda, you really did have this. You had a different kind of story. You had Liv really trying to overcome, but it was stacked against her from the beginning. It just was. With Karrion and Drew, you had something very different and still very enjoyable. I gave that a 4 out of 5. From there, we went into the other women's championship match, Bianca Bel-Air versus Bayley. And this match did not go at all the way I thought it would. It was still a good match. It had still gave me some spots to cringe. There are certain types of matches I have trouble watching women in, mostly because I'm always worried they're going to get hurt. Like really hurt. If the guys get hurt, I don't care as much, but man, it's fine. In either case, that had a great ending with the KOD with Bayley holding the ladder. Hopefully her fingers are okay. That looked a little dicey there, but I give that match a 4 out of 5 as well. It was good. It did hold interest. Nice storytelling. Didn't quite go the way I thought it would, but still a very good match. From there, we went into Edge versus Finn Balor, and this went almost exactly the way I thought it would. Slight differential. I didn't actually expect Beth to be in the building. I expected Rhea and Dominic to be going to Beth and Edge's home, or their home, a set somewhere. There was no off-site. Beth happened to be there, and they did involve her, and it did end with Edge saying, "I quit," not for his own sake, but for his wife's sake, which is pretty much exactly the way I thought that was going to go down. It was a great match. honestly, I don't think Edge has ever had a bad match. And of course, Finn Balor is, an extremely capable performer in his own right. Side note, I really think Dominic was born to be a chicken shit heel. I really do. He's doing that quite well. This match also gets a 5 out of 5. Might have been, might have to say it was my favorite match of the night. It's a real toss up between that and the Liv Morgan Ronda Rousey match, but it's just fantastic match. Then we go into the fight pit, which I'd never seen one of these before. The fight pit was Seth Rollins versus Matt Riddle. From what I understand, Riddle did a few of these in NXT, but I never saw any of them. I never was all that interested in Riddle's work. I have a hard time getting past his character. Not a big fan of stoners, and I have trouble getting past the Spicoli-esque character. It's hard for me. However, this was intriguing. I wouldn't mind seeing more of these types of matches, maybe with some other people in them, some other skill sets. Seth Rollins match, so obviously there was a lot of head games and whatnot, and they tried to make it supremely personal, with Seth bringing up personal things from Riddle's life, which if you are a fan of Riddle, you might have cared about. I'm not, and I didn't. This I was pulling for Rollins here just because I will never root for Matt Riddle. Just won't. So that's, I'm biased. Sorry. But, the concept was interesting. The finish was creative. Daniel Cormier was, I want to say, maybe out of his element. I mean, he was fine. He's there as a special guest referee. I'm not really sure he added that much to the match, other than it being a referee that, they couldn't just shove around. So there was a little bit of that storytelling there, but it wasn't. We could have had very much the same match without it. So they may have wasted some money on him. I don't know. But in either case, after that match, Rollins and Riddle in the fight pit, I gave it 3 out of 5. That might be appalling to you that I rated it below the Donnybrook match, but I did. Sorry. After that, we finally found out what's been going on with the White Rabbit, and as many people suspected, it was the return of Bray Wyatt. This was done quite interestingly. It actually scared my kids with the life-size characters being shown at different points in the arena, and then of course the eventual reveal of Bray in a new mask. I don't know if it's going to be a new character. It's not The Fiend. And it's not, Swampland Preacher Bray Wyatt that we, got originally with the Wyatt family. We're going to have to see what this new character kind of pans out as. I don't know if they'll do a thing where he's switching back and forth between 3 characters like they did with Mick several years ago. I don't know. I mean, Bray could definitely pull that off. He's talented enough, but I don't know. But the segment itself was enthralling. Good use of psychology. Really kept you on the edge of your seat because you didn't exactly know what they were going to do. You had an idea, but you weren't sure. And the segment, it's not a match, but as a segment, I'm going to give that a 5 out of 5. So the scoring here as it goes is it works out to be the matches themselves. The match card worked out to be 24.5 out of 30. With the segments not included in the 30, it is an extra bit. I'm not going to talk about The Miz getting beat up by a mascot, because that was filler. So we're going to go ahead and give it a 29.5 out of 30. Fantastic show. Really enjoyed it. Giving it an A. I'm going to be looking forward to actually watching and consuming more wrestling. Things are calming down a little bit. Well, that's not the right word for it, but I'm going to have a little more time to actually take in wrestling content. So I'll be doing more reviews and be able to speak a little bit more on the long-term storytelling, if any, that they are doing when I'm doing reviews in the future. So until next time, I am Ken Carnage, and Carnage is right around the corner.